Hey friends, Nickemwit here, starting a short video series about Captain Falcon in teams. Some of the stuff from my intro to teams is a little bit dated. It'll still help for low and mid levels for sure, but some things don't really apply much for higher levels. So let's talk about his strengths, his weaknesses, some differences from singles, and then I'll allude to his best teammates. So first strength, obviously, raw kill power. Knee is very strong, kills quick. He's got good overshoots, drive-bys, we can call them, to break up if your teammate loses neutral, right? This isn't just because of his speed and the hitbox being good. It's also because of the knockback of the moves. First hit in air will make it so your teammate has no stun. And, maybe it'll even, second hit could even hit the back line, where that way it'll be, put your teammate in a good actionable place. Whereas if you were like Marth doing a wave dash forward smash, for example, your teammate might just get bodied more, even if you hit the front line from the other team. Stomp also, if your teammate's in there, hit him in the ground, he can tech, and then he's in a good spot. He can tech behind you or whatever. Okay, he's got a good grab game. This is mostly for 1v2s, right? Approaching with grab, like in a 2v2 neutral situation, a lot of times you'll just get bodied because the teammate will be there to react and then punish you. But with his speed and his grab game, you can get a quick grab into up smash if you're playing Fox Falcon while the teammate is dead or off stage. He's got good mobility, both horizontal and vertical. I alluded to his horizontal mobility being good for those drive-bys and shit. He's also got good vertical mobility, which is useful for running away when your teammate's off stage dead or just wanting to generally be evasive. Maybe it's slow or neutral. So good platform game. This can also be useful in team combos, right? You could have a vertical team combo with like a Marth doing like a up air, up tilt. You can have Falco's pillaring on the platforms, and then you come up here. You need somebody. If the teammate's like a floaty, Peach for example, and you have a vertical combo on the platforms with your teammate, it'll basically be uninterruptible. So the vertical mobility on top of the horizontal mobility is also really good. He's got obviously good air control in terms of his up air can control in juggle really well. Now, on top of this just being a great hitbox, the juggling aspect of Falcon's moves is pretty strong too, right? Nair, up air, back air can all be very easy to team combo off of, and there's multiple hitboxes you can use. Reverse back air, less knockback than like up air. You can get like a late back air for really high percent. Team combos can be really good against floaties to like set up for a Fox up air, for example, at high percents. And then up air has a ton of different hitboxes too, like different strengths on the backside. And depending on if your opponent's jump, their character, their fall speed, their percent, they can all be really good. Me as a ledge guard finisher can be great, right? Because perhaps it's like a Martha or Sheik off stage. You might be able to not even just team ledge guard, but just do it yourself and reverse knee them. And that can kill at a really low percent, which can avoid rinse and repeats. And rinse and repeats will allow their teammate to come try to save them. So having that raw kill power that I mentioned earlier, like not just in neutral, but for these avoiding protracted ledge guards, can be extremely strong. Also, with his speed, you could imagine like a Fox off stage, on the right side here, Peach on the left side, for example. And then you can like zone out the Peach, like over here or some shit, and still just run across the stage, cover a high recovery, which while your teammate covers the low recovery. So having that mobility and ability to zone somebody out and then still just run across the stage for like a team ledge guard or let's say a grab knee can be extremely good. One last thing, Falcon's ledge game isn't the absolute strongest. His glint, it's a little bit hard to leverage. But just even having like invincible ledge salt or tech skills on point, make it so people feel the need to try to steal the ledge from you to get a strong 2v1 conversion on you. And if, the person feels compelled to steal the ledge, then you have the opportunity to just get on stage and then book it through them and then get out of jail for free and avoid these bad 2v1 situations. So yeah, invincible ledge fall can be really good and can also be good for setting up 1v1 ledge guards, let's say, if your teammate is doing something across the stage. Okay, weaknesses, obviously he's combo food, right? He's fat, and he's fat and he sucks out of shield. He's just bad from defense in general. His recovery not the best also, but we get into that in a second. He's pretty bad at saves too, right? Off stage, generally kind of risky. He doesn't have something like hella jumps that Puff has, a float from Peach who can float off in down air, his own recovery, even if you manage to hit your teammate back toward the stage, it's kind of whatever. His saves from on stage are okay. You can get like a dash attack sometimes or a down tilt, maybe even a teeter cancel into that, right? So if your teammate is really close to the ledge, his saves are okay. But overall, he's pretty bad at saving. He's bad at scrapping too, right? Doesn't have like something that breaks crouch cancel well when you're in close range. Gentleman, even if you get even if you're really good at using Gentleman, there's enough time usually with 3 hits for the other person's teammate to come save you, come punish you, even if you don't get crouch canceled by the guy in front. So yeah, he's not very good at scrapping, so you got to be really careful if people get in on you in general. And what I just said about struggling at CC in close quarters is kind of a problem for him in general in teams, because his neutral air and his his down air and his grab, which are the tools you'd use most in singles to combat CC, are not quite as easily used or leveraged in teams in neutral anyway. So he does struggle with crouch cancel because tech chasing, for example, just not really a thing in teams if you think about how you usually accrue percent in singles. So yeah, it's hard. You can get pokes here and there, right? It's not like everything will get you punished, but as far as getting a good opening, it can be pretty hard. You don't have something like a Falcon down air or like a Fox up smash to get in there at medium percent and to still lead to a lot. So his throws, can be kind of mediocre too. It's not as easy to get like a big throw combo like you see from Peach Sheik. So both as far as when he gets the throw, and when his teammate gets a throw at like lower percents, it's not necessarily forthcoming for him. He doesn't have good ground attack to set up. If his teammate gets a throw, like you see Mars do like down throw or back throw into Fox up smash a lot. Those things don't happen very frequently for Falcon, or it's definitely not as guaranteed. And his own throws not being as fast as a character like Marth, even though they're like faster than Sheik's down throw or something. He has a pretty good chance of getting bodied if you are approaching with grab in like a 2v2. And speaking of getting bodied, if you're teaming with like a character that has a slow recovery, a floaty, you can get bodied really bad. And 2v1s when your teammate's off stage can be really hard. And get locked down in shield can be really costly. People can grab you and then, get a team combo where your teammate's recovering pretty easily. Like I said, he can run away well, but if you're just running away, you still potentially have a problem with regrouping with your teammate, right? If they're getting back from off stage and you're like running away and shit, you might still just end up separated. So being able to run away, yeah, it's nice, but being separated from a teammate that has trouble regrouping, like Puff and Peach or Samus would often do, can be pretty problematic. Okay, let's talk about his recovery real quick. Obviously his recovery isn't the best, but being a recovery that's extremely rinse and repeated in terms of how people kill you a lot of times, like backhanging you over and over, can actually be pretty good, because that gives your teammate more opportunities to save. Also, if your teammate happens to get an opening on the other side of the stage, they might kill the person's teammate faster than you get killed, because you can tank a lot of hits potentially. And like Falcon Kick doesn't really save you in singles, right? People will just still rinse and repeat you or kill you. But in teams, it might give your teammate the opportunity, like float off stage with Peach, dare, throw needles, shoot lasers potentially or something. It might actually still be a recoverable situation if you have the Falcon Kick, which, like I said, doesn't really happen in singles. So his recovery definitely does have some advantages in teams, and it can be really easy for your teammate to save you. There's a lot of characters that have really good save setups on Falcon that are very hard to execute. Okay, just real quick, bear in mind that, in singles, tech chasing, obviously a good thing for Falcon to do, can accrue a lot of percent, but in teams, just generally not very effective strategy. You can get punished for the grab, you can get punished for getting fixated on the follow-up, and your teammate might even lose their engagement while you're tech chasing if for some reason you are. So generally speaking, your grab game from singles doesn't translate very well. Although again, getting a grab in a 2v1 is extremely strong. So you have to know when to go for grabs. This can also be hard though if you have a teammate that doesn't have a good crouch cancel breaking move in neutral as well, because at that point it can be really hard to find openings that will lead to stuff. So sometimes you will still feel compelled to go for grab if you're not with the right character, and do your best to make it work. Sometimes your back throw can lead to things. Sometimes you can use throw invincibility, etc., etc. Okay, offstage stuff. Obviously, offstage ledge guard's kind of risky in teams. Definitely not as much of the staples in singles. But if your teammate knows when you might want to go offstage and can, zone someone out like here and then make it safe for you, that can be good. Alternatively, if they're the one on the ledge and they know that you're going to go offstage and then they quickly get back on stage to, again, protect you from a reversal kill, can be good because high recoveries are extremely strong in teams or another standard. So if you, read a Fox like up being, there, whatever, that can be an extremely good read to go for. Your teammate just has to be really cognizant that you're going to go out. And also, you have to be smart about when you have the reads, right? Somebody might see it coming and still dodge your recovery. So, yeah, be extremely calculated and smart about your offstage game. It's definitely not as much of a thing as in singles. Last thing, real quick, much like I said about grabs with launchers, side B, stomp, these can be really juicy openings in singles, but sometimes in teams, you can get disrupted in that time, so you need to have really good discretion and awareness of where the person's teammate is if you land a launcher, to not just go for a follow-up indiscriminately, and to know when you have time and when you should target switch, or something that you could do potentially. Let's say you could hit somebody in front with a launcher and then quickly target switch to the back line when your teammate takes the front line, right? Let's say you stomp, right? Then maybe if instead of going for the follow-up on the person in front, which will for sure get disrupted by their teammate, maybe you intercept the person in the back or use their teammate as bait because they'll want to help them. So for example, late drift in aerials can be a good way to punish somebody for trying to help their teammate sometimes, if you can outspace them like this. So yeah, you got to be smart about your launchers. Real quick, I'm just going to talk about Falcon's teammates. I'm not going to get into any depth about this because the subsequent videos will deal with the specifics of teaming with the teammates. But here's a little image I made for who I perceive to be Falcon's best teammates. So Fox, obviously the best just across the board. I don't think there's any comps that you don't want Fox for. Falcon Marth, pretty good. Synergy is actually quite forthcoming, although a little bit hard to execute with Marth. And the Falcon obviously have to be really good at teams, which is kind of rare. But these are pretty good. Can be a little bit hard against double floaties, especially Peach Chic, because you have to make sure that you don't do anything dumb and get blown up. Their punish games will generally be better than you. Double Falcon, good if you're not against double Spacey. Luigi, actually some high-key good synergy there, although it's a little bit unintuitive or not obvious. So this will be a character we'll have to talk about in more depth. Sheik, I know that SUJ and Shroom are one of the best teams of all time, but the team comp really struggles against crouch cancel, right? Both characters like to tech chase in singles to accrue damage. So it can be really hard to get openings, and it can be kind of hard to help each other too. If the team is getting bodied, they don't have the easiest button suppress for this. So this one can definitely work if you're really good, but I think both players need to be extremely good in the scrap and in close quarter situations and at approaching, which is not something that most players of these characters are actually super good at. If you think about scrappy players who like to be in each other's face, SJ and Shroom are two of the most so for their individual characters ever. Pikachu, the synergy is kind of not very good overall in terms of your setups together, but you're both fast and you both have potential kill power, and you don't really have to help Pikachu very much because Pikachu's recovery is pretty good. And Pikachu can gimp, if you're getting rinse repeated and Pikachu gimps the other person's teammate, then that's just good for you. Peach and Puff, you can get separated pretty easily. But you can also get some nasty punishes. I think Peach is a little bit easier to execute with than Puff. I've personally never had any success teaming with Puff, though I think theoretically it could work. Ganon and Yoshi, these guys can tank a lot of hits. You can all tank a lot of hits, and they can potentially get some fat hits, some quick kills themselves, or just some 2 or 3 piece combos that can lead to kills. So that's why these characters are here. Doc, Ices, they both have good hits to land, but I think the neutral both of them is pretty hard. Getting back to neutral with both of them, if you're from disadvantage, pretty hard to. Samus, I think is probably the worst character that you can maybe make it work with, though I wouldn't recommend it. You usually just get bodied while she recovers, and the on-stage synergy, well, there's a little bit, but not too much. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna make an individual video about teaming with Fox, Falco, Marth, Falcon, Luigi, probably Sheik, probably not Pikachu, and then I think Peach and Puff as well, and then I won't do these bottom 5 ones. So those videos should be probably like 3 to 5 minutes for the worst characters, and then 5 to 10 minutes for the better characters that have more synergy. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. I tried to get through everything really quick. I know it can sometimes drag on and not pack enough information in the amount of time. So expect the videos for Peach, Puff, and stuff to come out very soon, probably before the end of the month, and it's currently April 21st. All right, thanks for watching.